I'd like to simplify 32 to the power of 1/5 all squared. Alright, there's several ways to do this. We can use our rules. You've got 32 to the power of 1/5 being squared, so that's going to be 32 to the power of 1/5 times 2, which is 32 to the power of 2/5. Just as a note, when you multiply a fraction by 2, when you multiply something by 2, the 2 goes on top. Multiplication is on top. Okay? 32 to the power of 2/5 is the same as 32 squared, and you take the 5th root of that. Or you can take the 5th root of 32 and then square it. Now don't forget, when you have a power with a rational power, in other words, you have a power with a fraction in it, the top number is the actual thing that you're raising to the power of, whereas the bottom number is taking the nth root. Right? So in both cases here, I'm going to say the power, so 32 to the power of 2, and then we're going to take the 5th root of that. Or I could have done the 5th root first. Take the 5th root of your 32 and then do the power of 2. So you can do it either way. The power of 2 will make it really, really big and then get it down to small, down to 4. Or if you take the 5th root, it'll make it really, really small, and then you square it and it'll get up to 4. So it'll go lower but then back up high. This one will go really, really high but then back down low. But as I said, the main thing to remember is the top number is the thing you're squaring, cubing, whatever. You're raising it to that power. The bottom number is taking the root, so nth root, 5th root, 6th root, whatever that bottom number is. So in the first case, where we're taking 32 and squaring it, then you get 1024, and you take the 5th root of that, and you get 4. Now that might seem hard without a calculator, but really, all you're doing is just saying, if the 5th root, you're saying, what times itself 5 times? So what can you do, what number can you do where it's like that number times the same number times that number times that number times that number 5 times to get 1024? And a quick test will do that easy for you. So let's say I've got 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, or you just say 3 to the power of 5. Oh, that's not big enough. That's just 243. Let's try 4. 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 times 4. Oh, yeah, it's 1024. So it might take a tiny bit of work to figure out which number actually multiplies by itself 5 times to get 1024. But you get used to it. Like as soon as I see 32, I know that it's going to be a multiple of 2, or a multiple. Yeah, so like 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, I know it's 32 because I just know the multiples of 2, or the powers of 2 are 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64. After a while, you just get to recognize them. But you know it's going to be a pretty small number if it has to multiply by itself 5 times. And that this number isn't all that big for exponential growth. So you know it's going to be a real small number. So just test out a few until you get it. In the other situation, like the other way of doing it, is taking your 32 and take the 5th root of that. That's 2. And you get 2 squared and also 4. Okay, we're kind of doing it the same way, but there's another way of looking at it. If you just do what's in the brackets first, 32 to the power of 1/5, so that is the same as the 5th root of 32 in the brackets, and that is equal to 2. You take that whole thing and you square it, and that means that you get 4 anyway. So there are a bunch of different ways of looking at this, all come out to the answer of 4. Some people might even put 1/5 into a decimal, so 0.2. That's okay. 32 to the power of 0.2 is the same thing. It's still 2. But of course, you need a calculator to do that one. Square it, you still get 4. If you still want to use the power of a power rule, you got 32 to the power of 0.2 squared, which is 32 to the power of 0.2 times 2. 0.2 times 2 is 0.4, and 32 to the power of 0.4 is still equal to 4. You'd probably need your calculator for that.